Is McLaren playing favourites? As Norris storms to pole, Piastri slips, and fans are whispering sabotage. Title tensions explode in Mexico as conspiracy theories swirl. Let's break it down. The championship pendulum just swung hard in Mexico City. McLaren's Lando Norris stunned the paddock with a blistering pole lap, while title leader Oscar Piastri was left reeling, his team radio said it all, as he prepares to start from 7th. With just 14 points separating the McLaren duo and 5 race weekends remaining, including 2 sprints, the pressure is boiling over. Red Bull's Max Verstappen, riding a wave of recent form, lurks just 40 points behind and starts 5th. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton lock out the 2nd and 3rd spots, with Mercedes' George Russell in 4th. Kimi Antonelli joins Verstappen on row 3, while Piastri benefits from Carlos Sainz's grid penalty to move up 1 spot despite qualifying 8th. If Norris converts pole into a podium, or better, he could leave Mexico City as the new championship leader. Even he couldn't believe his lap, exclaiming over team radio in disbelief. "Ah, what a lap, what a lap! Even I don't know how I did that." Starting from pole, the Brit is eyeing a golden opportunity to capitalize on his front row advantage, he said, stepping out of his McLaren with a mix of adrenaline and ambition. "I've been feeling good all weekend, especially today. I got a little bit nervous of the Ferrari at the end, but I pulled it out when it mattered and I'm very happy. I've not been sleeping well lately, so maybe that's the key to it all. I've had some good races here in the past and will focus on what I can control. That's all I can do." Normally, the cool-down lap is filled with chatter, drivers and engineers diving straight into debrief mode. But this time, Oscar Piastri had nothing to say. After being informed by race engineer Tom Stallard that he'd be starting the Mexican Grand Prix from 7th, the radio went dead. Stallard's words hung in the air. "So we box this lap. That is 8, I'm afraid, 8. But Sainz does have a penalty to come and he's 7th. Box now. When you get to parc ferme, we need to switch fully off, so that's kill the engine, wait 5 seconds, and then switch fully off." After an uncharacteristically quiet cool-down lap, Oscar Piastri finally spoke in the TV pen, but his words offered little clarity. The championship leader admitted he was baffled by his lack of pace in qualifying, unable to pinpoint what went wrong. "There's just no pace, which is a bit of a mystery. It's been more or less the same gap all weekend, so we'll have a look at where it was going wrong. Obviously, it's a bit frustrating. Not a huge amount has changed around how I'm feeling in the car. It's just this weekend, and last weekend it's felt like the pace hasn't come. I'm not 100% sure why yet, so we'll do some digging. That's turn 1, going to be an opportunity to make some progress forwards. We'll see what I can do." With Oscar Piastri's sudden and sharp decline in performance over this past few races, many have speculated that this is a deliberate effort from the McLaren camp who secretly want Lando Norris to win his first title. And to that, McLaren team boss Andrea Stella has poured cold water on rumours of a technical gremlin haunting Oscar Piastri's car, firmly stating there's no evidence of any fault. Despite the Aussies' puzzling lack of pace in Mexico, Stella insists the issue isn't under the bodywork, leaving more questions than answers as the title race tightens. As mentioned earlier, Oscar Piastri was left scratching his head after trailing teammate Lando Norris by 0.6 of a second at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, a gap that stubbornly lingered through every session of the weekend. "Being that far off, when you feel like you've done a reasonable job, is a difficult place to be," Piastri said. "That's my biggest concern at the moment." Despite Oscar Piastri's puzzling pace deficit and a 7th place start for Sunday's race, McLaren team principal Andrea Stella has ruled out any technical gremlins in the MCL 39. The 23-year-old's struggles sparked speculation of a hidden issue under the hood, but Stella was quick to shut it down, insisting the team's analysis showed nothing unusual. "Every evidence, every piece of data, every indirect measurement or information we have tells us that there is no problem with the car," Stella said, after qualifying at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. "We have no reason to suspect that's the case." McLaren team principal Andrea Stella has made it clear. There will be no chassis change for Oscar Piastri ahead of next week's São Paulo Grand Prix. Despite the speculation swirling after Piastri's puzzling qualifying performance in Mexico, Stella insists the team sees no reason to make such a move. I know that in the history of Formula One, there is this topic of changing the chassis, but I would change other components than the chassis, like the floor, the front wing, he explained. These are very, very unique conditions in Mexico City with the high altitude. And once you get the familiarity with what you have to do and what you have to feel, then you start to gain in every single corner. So no concern with the car, and I'm sure Oscar will capitalize from the learning. Moving away from the McLaren camp, Red Bull's Helmut Marko isn't pulling punches. The outspoken advisor believes Oscar Piastri is starting to buckle under championship pressure, even as Red Bull faces its own struggles in Mexico. Despite fresh upgrades to the RB21, Max Verstappen could only qualify 5th, while Piastri's subdued pace saw him land 8th, bumped to P7 thanks to Carlos Sainz's grid penalty. But the weekend isn't a total loss for Red Bull. With Lando Norris now the faster McLaren and closing in on Piastri's lead, Verstappen could quietly profit from the chaos, even without standing on the top step. Of course, we still need McLaren's help, Marko told Kleine Zeitung. I think Piastri is apparently not handling the pressure so well after all. At least that's how it seemed recently, even though I don't know him well enough to say for sure. Dr. Helmut Marko has tempered expectations for Red Bull's weekend in Mexico, acknowledging that the team isn't banking on a standout result. Despite upgrades to the RB21, qualifying proved underwhelming, and Marko's comments suggest the team is bracing for a more subdued showing at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. If it goes perfectly, a podium finish might be possible, he said. We want to gain points on Oscar Piastri, but it looks like we're going to lose points to Norris. Then the score will be even closer, the tension will continue. Max Verstappen may be clawing his way back into the title fight, but he's not getting carried away. The reigning champion remained composed after qualifying in Mexico, yet didn't hold back when assessing Red Bull's upgraded RB21. His verdict? Straight to the point and far from glowing. We were bad everywhere here, he told Viaplay. Sector 2 was the worst. You just have to look at my onboard footage. It was bizarre. Bizarrely bad. No balance, no grip, and I expect it to be even worse in the race tomorrow. And with tensions rising and theories swirling, the championship battle is anything but predictable. Could McLaren really be backing Norris over Piastri? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more F1 drama.